All right, I'm going to show you a really quick video about painting water effects. So when you're painting water, what you're really painting is the reflection of whatever is above the water. So what I did was I painted a piece of paper dark, and what I'm going to do is add the light on top of this paper to create the same effect as the water. So when you're painting your landscapes, it's a good idea to paint one color for the background, and then you can add details on top. And you can also draw on top of your paper for where to put different colors. So I'm going to put some lines here to represent where the light will go. Now it doesn't have to be completely accurate. If you get the idea of the water, then it will make sense. So I'm just putting shapes where I see the light in the water. Okay, and then I'm gonna imagine the line here is about here on the paper. And I may change the background color if it doesn't match the photo, but for now I'm just going to use this dark blue black combination. All right, now I'm gonna take my brush. I'm gonna use a square brush. I'm gonna wipe it so there's no water inside of it. If there's water on your brush, it will affect the paint. Now I'm gonna try to match the same color as the light in the water. So I'm gonna take some white and some blue and try to match this. Now I see a little bit more blue in this water, so I'm gonna put a little more blue in my paint. And now I have a light blue. So now I'm going to paint on top of the shapes that I made to represent the light hitting the water. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly the same detail as the photo, as long as you create the effect of the light water on top of the dark water. Okay, and I see some white edges. You have to look very closely to see all these details, but I'm going to add a little bit of white. I'm going to use a very fine-tipped brush. You can ask me for one of these if you'd like to use one. So I'm going to use a little bit of white on the edges of this water and blend it in. So I have to work quickly because this paint dries very fast. So if I want to blend it, it needs to be wet still. And I'm not going to do this to all of the areas, but just here and there. Okay. Now I do see some green reflecting from the mountain, so I'm going to mix yellow with blue to make some green. I'm going to add a little bit of green texture in my water. And this is where the mountain is, so I'm going to go ahead and add some paint there to represent the mountain above. So this would be a practice. This is not the final draft. Just to get the idea of the reflection in the water. And you can see through the paint. So if you can see through the paint, sometimes I add a little white to whatever color I'm using, and that makes it less transparent, and the word is more opaque. So you cannot now see through the paint. It's just bright green on top. Okay, just to get the idea of the mountain there. And so in this area we have a little bit of yellow green It's a little lighter than I thought before, so I'm gonna take more yellow and just do little dashes of yellow in the water. And a few more over here. Okay. So another technique that you can use to try to get the effect of water is turn your painting or your photo upside down. And that helps us to disconnect what we are seeing with just the shapes and trying to paint the shapes on the paper. So I see that there's more light blue here than I put in originally. I'm gonna put a few more dashes of light blue. Okay. And I would paint more details in this. This is just to give you the idea of creating the effect of water. Okay,